What's up, everybody? It's Chan Daily, and today I'm going to be talking about something that I've been wanting to talk about ever since I have come out, and that is whether you can be a Christian and queer or LGBTQ identifying. So, I have been struggling with this a while, and this is like why I stayed in the closet for as long as I did, because I felt like, basically being someone who lived in the South, I saw sentiments of hatred towards people that identified as queer. And I saw this throughout my whole life, whether it was like homophobic remarks that certain people in my family would make, or whether it was close friends, or even being teased in middle school because people had a hunch that I was in it for the guys too. So I would hear things like, being called fag and all this stuff. So it was just like so much hate rooted in being someone a part of the LGBTQ community that I did not want any part of it, especially when it comes to messages that I heard in relation to religious sentiments. I remember one of my best friends' dad was a pastor. He was talking about gay people in the living room one day while I was over there. And I mean, this was before I came out, so I don't think he was like really trying to throw shade or anything. But he was like, oh, gay people are the only people that I believe that God hates. Like, there are passages in the Bible, quote unquote, that he was saying that gay people were referred to, or they're the only group of people that were referred to as being dogs. And, that really hit me in a certain way, because I was just like, damn, like, what does this mean for my life? Because that's like kind of when I was starting to question my sexuality even more so. Because, it was 16 or 17, so I was starting to develop like serious crushes, and I was starting to feel like certain ways towards, certain people. So I was just like, these feelings that I have are not natural, and I need to try to get away with it. I've never been someone, I'm not the type even today that I'm out to like wave a big flag and be like, oh man, look at me. This is who I like to sleep with. That's just not who I am. And I'm saying that I'm not proud of every part of myself, but I had never, and maybe it's because, growing up, I was fearful of this for such a long time, but I've never been one of those people that, was so in your face about sexual orientation. I probably never will be. I mean, besides, making videos on the internet for everybody to see. But yeah, it was just like super hard for me to, accept that part of myself because of all the hate that I would potentially get from family members, friends, peers. But it's crazy because whenever I came out, people from church, people from my life in all aspects, teachers, professors, like friends, even people that I was in a relationship with that were women, they all came to me with love, and they were like, wow, like what you did was very brave, we support you, we're there for you. And that's kind of not what I was expecting, so that's what took so long. But I think a big part of why I came out and why I'm willing to talk about my story so much is that I believe that here's the gay community, here's the Christian community, and I feel like these two communities are so separate right now. And I think that there needs to be more faces in the forefront, just kind of fighting to reconciliate the two groups, because I don't know, I've been dating a lot in the city, and I've been trying to like figure out what I like, and every gay person that I've, dated or talked to, they're not like super religious. I mean, there's been a few, but they range from like, I believe that there is a higher force, but I don't want to necessarily attribute it to Christianity because of the messages of hate that come from Christianity. And then it's like the people that like, I don't believe in God, I don't think that God is real, all this stuff. And I do think it's because like there is a misperception of what Christianity is in the gay community, and I think that there's a misperception of what being gay is in the Christian community. Because if I'm going back to things that I was taught as a child or that I saw, is that, gay people were like super promiscuous. They, you know, just did anything under the sun. And I don't know, it's like a form of dehumanization. But what I found is there's different types of straight people, there's different types of gay people too. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's the hoes. And then there are the good, wholesome queer men in the world. That have standards and don't sleep around and all these things, and that want to have a long-lasting, healthy relationship that isn't based solely on sex. And I think that queer people are over sexualized, and I think that we're like fetishized to be like these people that just like to sleep around and like have fun and get drunk. And like, even though that might come in stages and that's something that people will do, I don't think that that's just who we are as a people. Speaking for queer people, I think we're much more diverse than that. So then you have how gay people are viewing, or like how the majority of gay people, at least that I know, are viewing, overly religious Christian people as being people that are hateful and people that are judgmental and people that don't have fun. And I think that being at an intersection of both of those, I understand both sides now. So on the queer side, I understand how there's diversity of queer people, and then on the Christian side, I'm seeing how there is diversity of Christian people too. Don't get me wrong, I've been around the Christians that are super hateful and they're just like super judgmental, that do not stand for gay rights, will not stand for a gay person, will not speak up for a gay person, will not represent because they think that what they're doing is extremely sinful. But I think that they're missing a huge point, is that, whether you view being gay as a sin or not, which I personally don't think it is. Maybe like sex within the gay community can be sinful, to a certain extent, but I don't think that, that identity is sinful in itself. So I think that just like breaking down some of those barriers and having conversations to kind of see why people think certain ways, because if you think about it, like, no sin, this is what God says, no sin is greater than the other one. So people put all this emphasis on being gay and identifying as gay, but there's people in the church community that have been judging people for years. And on Judgment Day, who do you think is going to, I'm not God, so I can't say, but I mean, I see an equal case for God pulling the lever and be like, well, you're going to hell too if you have been judging people all your life. I mean, because God is truly the judge, and what I know is that God is love no matter what. And no matter how you identify, God is going to love you either way. I just know that being a part of the gay community, we should strive to be better people every single day and to have self-control and to just be the best people. And if you're a Christian, be the best Christian that you can be with the cards that you were given. And I think that that is kind of another thing that makes it hard, because the Bible says what the Bible says, and whether you agree with it, that's your choice. That's why people identify as more spiritual than religious and vice versa. But you either follow it or you don't. And, the things that you apply to your life, that is your life, and you should take complete ownership of that. But I just think that you shouldn't judge people for their sins and how they live their life. I mean, you can live your life and you can live your life as an example, but to sit somewhere and be like, you're sinning worse than me, or what you're doing is something that God does not find acceptable, I think we need to turn the mirror on ourselves and look at our lives before we can genuinely say anything about anybody else's life. And, at the end of the day, I believe that God is love. And on the gay side, I believe that love is love. So I think that if we just focus on the love that we should be giving each other, then it will be so much easier for us to coexist, collaborate, build communities together, and bring people into what I would hope is to bring more people to Jesus, telling my story. Because it's hard. I mean, it's awkward, and it's a conversation that's been avoided for the longest time because it's like a big elephant in the room. I mean, if you look up on a choir in a black church, you're gonna see at least 3 or 4 gay men. Like, I'm just saying. So why do people not talk about it? We exist in, churches. We exist in youth groups. I mean, everything is just so monolithic. That might be the wrong word for that. But everything is just so normalized that everybody is the same way and they want to get married at this age and everybody dates the opposite sex and all this stuff. And that's not what a Christian means. We're so diverse and we need to start having these conversations so that, you know, people stop feeling like they have to spend 23 years in the closet or like killing themselves because they feel like they're never going to be accepted by their families or things like that. And if we don't have these conversations, more people are going to continue to live these closeted lives. And like I said in my coming out video that I will link, I was never meant to live in the shade. I'm too great for that. I'm too godly. Like, I am made from the Creator and I shouldn't have to hide any part of myself. I think that every part of myself is a story that is worth being told and a story that will help so many other people. So if you take anything away from this today, I do think that you could be a Christian and be, you know, queer identifying. And I think that you should just focus on the love component of Christianity, being gay, LGBTQ, because if you just focus on the love, everything else is just gonna be it's gonna fall into place. So don't judge people, yes. And just mind your business. Dang, nosy. Always focus on other people's sins. Worry about you. Don't worry about me. I'm just trying to get this money. You heard that new Drake song? All right, I'm gonna stop. But thank you so much. And hopefully I'll be able to talk about this a little bit more. I'm still learning through it, so I'm not gonna be like an expert or anything, but I just want y'all to know it's a struggle. And I grow through my struggles and I explore my struggles because I do believe that it builds me up into the person that I'm supposed to be. So as long as I'm staying true to that, F the haters. All right, bye. I'll see y'all later.